Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today I am talking about a topic which means a lot to me. Right, so if you don't know, I used to play football and basketball. About 9 months ago, I actually tore my ACL. So in today's video, we're going to talk about how it happened, how my recovery's been going, and why an ACL tear is one of the worst injuries that you can possibly get in sport ever. We've seen athletes like Klay Thompson get them in big games and then not come back for 2 years. In England, when you're not a professional athlete, the experience is a lot different and a lot more painful to deal with, being as in England we have the NHS, but we're going to get into that. So this is more of a story video. If you like these type of videos, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that, and it would mean a lot because this is a topic that means a lot to me. Now, to start off with, I'm going to talk about how it actually occurred. So I was playing football. I played football for a Sunday league team in my local area. So we weren't especially good, but we weren't bad. It was just a bit of fun, a bit of exercise to get me through the day and stuff like that. But it was a fun time. It was kind of like a family. I was with them for about 8 years at that point, I think it was. And the way it happened was I was playing football and we were playing a team that was quite known for being bad foulers and a bit dodgy and people that would try and start a fight with you, if you know what I'm saying. And it would get to the point where we were up 2-0 against this team because they never did any training. They just turned up and played. They didn't do any warm-ups or anything. So we're up 2-0 and it's quite a heated game. It's getting quite aggressive. I'm playing CDM at the time, so I used to play left back, but then I converted into a CDM later on in my Sunday league career, if you want to call it a career. But I started playing CDM. I was doing amazingly well, in my opinion. I think I was the best player on that pitch. They actually got a penalty. I can't remember who gave the penalty away, but they got a penalty somehow, and I can't really remember the details of that. But I'm standing at the edge of the box, and if you play football, you know, you get ready to run in to, if they miss the penalty, you can clear it and stuff like that. So I'm waiting on the edge of the box to run in and clear it. They shoot. I step onto my right knee, and literally my knee just goes, it collapses essentially, right? My knee goes right and my leg goes left. And at this point, it's a bit of a hard thing to remember in my brain what's kind of happened, but I'm just in severe pain. If anyone out there has known what it's like to have an ACL tear, you'll know it's one of the worst experiences that you can ever have in your lifetime. Like, so I've tore this ACL, and then bearing in mind, the guys we're playing think I'm trying to time waste on the floor because they've just missed a penalty. So they're annoyed. I didn't even see them miss the penalty, but they missed the penalty. And they're very angry. So they think I'm time wasting. So they literally grab me when I can't feel my leg, pull me up and try and move me off the pitch. And it's becoming quite heated in its arguments around me, and I can't barely breathe because of the pain that is going on in my knee right now. So I literally hobble off the pitch to try and get out of the way so they don't basically beat me up, because I can't feel my leg anyway. So I'm trying my best to just stay out of the way and not get into trouble with these guys and stuff like that. And I sit on the bench and I can't feel my knee properly. It's just like agonizing, like a sharp shooting pain in my right knee. And I go to the doctor because I get told to, and he tells me it is ligament damage within my knee. Now, he said I could go back and play football within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. At this point, obviously, I didn't know it was an ACL tear. I just thought it was ligament damage. So I'm on crutches for 2 weeks because I can't walk. And I'm thinking, he told me I could go back in 2 weeks, so I just went training. Like, I genuinely went to football training and just started jogging about, like limping but jogging about and trying to play football. 2 weeks after tearing my ACL, I went back and tried to play football because he didn't send me for any scans. He didn't send me for anything. He didn't say, oh, it could be this that's happened. It could be you've torn your ACL or something. He just said it's ligament damage. You'll be fine in 2 weeks. And I'm thinking to myself, did I just really overreact to what happened? This is going to look a bit embarrassing if I can come back and play a match in 2 weeks when I'm sat there nearly crying on the floor, in the middle of a football pitch at the age of just turned 18. And it's just it's crazy because, and then I go football, I stamp my foot on the ground and it literally, my knee goes one way and my leg goes the other, and I've ruptured my ACL again. So if you don't know what that happens, is when you've got a torn ACL, it can basically slide again and it slides out of place. and it's really hard to explain, but you get the same feeling as it did when you tore it that first time. And when you rupture it, it basically means that it resets a little bit, but you can recover quicker. So at the time, I was on crutches for about 3 weeks, wasn't in 2 to 3 weeks. Went back and played football. And then I went to the doctors again because I was like, this surely shouldn't happen if it's just ligament damage at this point. It's one of the worst pains I've ever felt. So the GP tells me, in England we have GPs where you can go and walk in and they'll tell you what's up if you need to go A&E or whatever, urgent care or whatever. So he tells me, it looks like you've torn your ACL. That first thing he says, it looks like you've torn your ACL. So I go to A&E, get these scans, and everyone's telling me I've basically torn my ACL almost definitely. So I've got to have an MRI scan, which is like a 3D digital scan of your knee where they can see like the blood flow and stuff and all of that. If there's any actual injuries, they can see it, because you can't see it with an X-ray because it's like small and stuff. That's the reason that they gave me anyway. So then at this point, I've got to wait. I think it was I had to wait 3 months for an MRI scan to even confirm that I had a torn ACL. So when everyone's asking me why I'm on crutches for another 2 weeks, or why you're on crutches again, I have to tell them it's because I think I've torn my ACL. I don't know yet, which is mental, because when you think about it, professional athletes get their MRI scans the day of. They get it straight away. And having an MRI scan isn't the funnest experience ever. You're in this room where it's just banging and it's loud noises and stuff for about half an hour, 40 minutes, and you can't move or anything, so it's quite distressing, especially when you've never had it before. So I've had that. It takes them about a month to get back with the results about that. So by the way, at this point, we're about, let's say, 5 months in after doing it. They call me and say, yeah, you've got a torn ACL. So at this point, I'm thinking, all right then, I've got a torn ACL. We're going to put you on the list for an operation. I'm like, cool. So they did actually also give me physical therapy over this time, but my physical therapy never called me back. I had about 6 sessions with them and they never rang to arrange another appointment. So I've lost that at this point now. We're going to put you on a waiting list for a operation. So I'm like thinking, cool. Usually with the NHS, it's about 6 months to a year. The guy tells me it's going to be about a year until you can get an ACL operation. And at that point, I'm thinking, okay, it's not the worst thing ever, but I've already waited about a year, probably by the time I have the operation, to get the operation, and then I've got to wait. And then he actually tells me, oh, you've got to wait a year after of rehab, where you've got to rehab for a year after you can't play any sports. So at this time, I'm thinking, right, so it's going to be about 3 years until I can actually get back to playing a sport, any sport in general. And that is one of the most distressing parts about it, is being a person who can't pay private. You've got to wait for the NHS to do all this stuff, and before they've even put you on a waiting list for an operation, it's been 4 months, 4 or 5 months, where athletes could technically, they could get their operation the day of tearing it, or the day after, or a week after, or whatever. I have to wait like 9 months before I'm even put on a waiting list. So about a year and a half before I can even get an operation. Which, for someone that loves playing sports and that's what makes them feel like happy and alive, you know, anyone that plays sports will know that it's a release for them. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, that like something that makes someone feel so happy can just get taken away. And I haven't been able to play football since. And I've ruptured my ACL a further time after that as well by doing a jump while doing my physiotherapy. So I've ruptured my ACL. Well, I've torn it once and ruptured it twice, so I've had that pain 3 times. And it's one of the most severe injuries that you can get, because even if you get the operation to reconstruct your ACL, there's still quite a big chance that you could tear it again. I've genuinely seen someone who came back from 2 to 3 years off an ACL tear, come back, and within the first match, he tore his ACL again. And now he can't ever play football again. I've genuinely seen that. Like, on my football team, I've genuinely seen someone do that. And that is crazy. Like, honestly, crazy that can happen to someone. When sport is something that should be available to the masses, and an injury as severe as an ACL, even in professional sport, Clay was out for like a year, 2 years, in professional sport where he's getting all this professional care. Whereas amateurs like myself, where we play basketball, where we play football, where we do it for the love of the sport, not to get paid, not for any other reason than the love of the sport, we can't even get an operation for at least like a year and a half if you're not going private. And I just wanted to talk about it because for someone coming back from an ACL tear like myself, I'm still waiting for an operation, and I tore my ACL about 9 months ago. 9 months to a year ago, I tore my ACL. Which is just like, I haven't played football in like 9 months. And I won't be able to play football for at least like another year. It somewhat does feel like, even though it's there, I can jog, I can do all this, I can't run. I haven't been able to run for a long time, and it puts a stress on me because the only exercise I can do is biking because that's low impact on my knee. And it's hard because you think, I'm gaining weight, I can't exercise properly, I can't play the sports I love. And I just want to tell anyone, if you have got a torn ACL, you're not alone. I started this YouTube channel on the basis that I have this torn ACL and I want to do something in sport, and I want to give something to sport and play. If I can't play the sport I love, make videos about it, make content around it, make stuff around it, be within the sport and still love it even though I can't play it, be present in what's going on in the sport, because it made me lose my love for sport quite a lot. And that's why I made this YouTube channel, because it's made me happy to watch sport. Because every time I watch sport now, every time I see someone kick a ball, I think about my knee twisting the way it did. But it's just, for this video is mainly for me to share my experience and tell everyone that if you have got this injury, you're not alone. And I promise you, it will get better. Especially in the UK, where we have to wait 2-3 years for an operation and to get back to play sports. It's not fair, and it's not how it should be. But you can do it. Like, I can do it. Like, I'm doing something productive with what I want to do. Even if it's not fully successful yet, I'm happy with how it's going. I'm enjoying the process of making videos and doing what I love and being within sport, in both the sports I love, and that's the most important thing for me. This video is actually going up on both of my YouTube channels, so I just want to say that it's going on both, mainly to spread awareness for the injuries which I've had and the journey which I've had to go through. And by no means is it the worst thing ever that could happen in your life, but it is a major thing when you can't play the sports you love anymore and do the things that make you feel happy and is a release for you, you know? But if you have liked this video, I would really appreciate if you could like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is quite an informational video, and one which I want to raise awareness for the injury and how it can affect someone mentally and physically, and the kind of process we have in the UK and how it's been for me recently anyway. But that is the end of the video, guys, and thank you so much for watching.